Last week, we talked about the words at the cross, and I wanted to talk again about that, and I want to welcome our visitors this morning, and it's a fantastic Sunday morning out there. We've got rain. We need to be thankful for the rain. That's one of the first things I remember talking about in my first month serving this congregation. We talked about being thankful for the rain, and even when it's pouring down, we still sometimes have to. It's better than sometimes blurring down heat that we've been having. So at least hopefully it'll cool us off a little bit. We get some free car washes. Hopefully not too much damage to property, things like that out there. But good morning, and wanted to talk more about the words of God, about the words of Christ on the cross as we talked about last week. But also I want to review what I talked about last week and then move into what other people said when Christ was at the cross. Because we've talked about over the past few weeks about how words can impact us, how people's words maybe impacted Christ, how the words that we hear at the cross itself, teaching the crucifixion and learning about the crucifixion as a lesson within itself to see truly what our words can do, what we can learn from the people who were there when Christ was nailed to the cross for our sins. So let's take a look. Last week we talked about how we learned from Christ's words at the cross. We learned about forgiveness. We learned that in Luke 23, verse 34, it says, "But Jesus was saying, 'Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.' And they cast lots, dividing up his garments among themselves." He said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." They're doing it, but they don't realize what they're doing. And we're going to look a little bit more at that later when they do realize what they did and how they take care of it. We don't worship people. We worship God. Why let people and petty issues get in the way, is what we discussed last week, of our forgiveness. Many times we withhold forgiveness from people who don't know enough to ask for forgiveness, don't know what they did was wrong. And it's easy for us to say, I'm not going to forgive them until they're sorry. It's easy to do that. But is that really what we're called to do? Is that how we are called to be? Because Christ forgave people who didn't know what they were truly doing to him. They didn't know enough, didn't understand that they needed to be forgiven. We must forgive those who don't know enough of what they do to be sorry. We need to try to help them, try to teach them. We talked about in the adult class many times when people are in the service of something that they don't understand. They haven't been taught properly and they think what they're doing is right. We have to be able to have the forgiveness, have the humility, have the gentleness to be able to teach these people. In Jesus' words, we also talked about last week that we learned about salvation. We see in Luke 23, verses 39 through 43, about the criminals who were on the cross with Jesus and what they said to him. One of the in 23, starting in verse 39, says, "One of the criminals who were hanged there was hurling abuse at him, saying, 'Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us.' But the other answered and rebuking him, saying, 'Do you not even fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed are suffering justly for what we are receiving, what we deserve for our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong.' And he was saying, 'Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom.' And he said to him, 'Truly I say to you, today you shall be with me in paradise.'" These words of Christ, saying that today you will be with me in paradise, shows Christ's empathy to others. It shows the fact that he did not look upon his own tragedy and worry about himself, but he was willing to impart love, to impart salvation to others that were there. We also learn from Christ's words at the cross about pathos, words provoking empathy or sympathy, when we see in Matthew 27, verse 46, about the ninth hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" We talked about that last week, the fact that he was quoting Scripture. that he was still at that point quoting in Psalms 22, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Showing that he understood truly what was happening to him on that cross and the importance for him to be there, because he was there. He was there by his own will. And I think sometimes we forget that. He was willingly crucified for us, for God, according to God's will, according to God's prophecy. These words show us that in order for the Lamb